All right, Dolphins fans, the time has arrived. Today's NFL draft player profile is the one that I have been most looking forward to do all offseason throughout my NFL draft preparation. That is Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs. And those that have been following along, you know that he's my number one option for the Miami Dolphins at pick number 51. And it's a big if he is available. Because you know what? If I'm betting on it today, I'd say he's likely off the board by then. But you know what? NFL draft, best form of reality TV. If he makes it to number 51, there's no other realistic player that I'm taking over him. And yes, there are some that are close. A guy like Darnell Washington comes to mind. But Jahmyr Gibbs is my number one guy, and I'm going to explain why throughout today's video. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs, he did spend his first 2 seasons running back at Georgia Tech, final season at Alabama after transferring. But you're going to see a lot of Alvin Kamara comparisons, kind of due to that ability as a wide receiver, that shiftiness, that speed, that ability to create after the catch when the ball's in his hands. But before I dive into Jahmyr Gibbs, you know the drill. Let's hear your thoughts. Jahmyr Gibbs on the board at number 51. Is he your pick for the Miami Dolphins? Or would you end up taking someone else if maybe that other player was on the boards instead of Jahmyr Gibbs? So as we do with these, we're going to be talking strengths, we're talking weaknesses, and then most importantly, that fit. In the event the Miami Dolphins select Jahmyr Gibbs, we'll be talking about his fit with the Miami Dolphins. So let's jump into things with Jahmyr Gibbs, because I tell you what, as a running back, he already has a lot of the tools that you're looking for. He's got great vision. He finds the hole, he goes, and if it's not there, he's got that lateral quickness, that jump cut ability to evade defenders and still get positive yards, which is nice for our offensive line as it currently sits. Isn't the world's best offensive line for running backs. So that is a very nice skill set to have if the Dolphins were to select him. Now, obviously, he's great at making people miss in space. And once he gets by that last level of defenders, he's gone. That versatility he has as a pass catcher as well, with the ability not only to just haul in the ball, but run the routes out of the backfield, from the slot, or even lined up outside. He's got all that going on. And then if you look at how you can line him up kind of as a chess piece as well, and we see Mike McDaniel kind of do these things, and we really envision him taking the next step with the players that he has. He can be used in motion where he lines up in the backfield initially and then splits out wide. You see him in Alabama where he starts out wide and then he ends up lining up in the backfield. Like I said, he can be used all over the football field in an attempt to create mismatches. And one thing I really liked when watching him was simply that ability of him as a check down receiver. And I know we'd all love Tua to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker sometimes when the initial reads aren't there. But when Jahmyr Gibbs got check down passes like this when he was at Alabama, he showed that natural ability as a pass catcher. And guess what he does? He catches the ball and he immediately gets upfield and he creates in space. It's what you love to see from the position. But he feels, in my opinion, pretty damn can't miss at the next level. The athleticism, the explosiveness, the elusiveness, the versatility as a runner, as a pass catcher feels very, very, very safe. And that's why I'm saying I think it would be a miracle if he does last to 51. If you're looking at a weaknesses, the biggest flaw you'll probably find is just the sheer size. At about 200 pounds, the concern that could he be a workhorse running back? Could he be an every down running back? But quite honestly, not super concerned of that. We see a lot of NFL teams going in the direction, finding success with the running back by committee approach. So the only other thing that you're going to really worry about at that size is obviously he's probably not the greatest in pass protection, which we know is important. It's an underrated part of the position. But yeah, he does and probably will struggle with that at least right now heading into the NFL. But let's talk about that fit with the Dolphins. That's what we're here to really talk about. But based on the moves we've seen this offseason, I know we're all on the same page. Pretty safe to say that it's going to be a running back by committee approach. So while the season would potentially start with more touches for Raheem Mostert, for Jeff Wilson, in my opinion, it would not take long for the Miami coaching staff to realize, you know what, we can't keep this guy off the field. And basically any team that takes Jahmyr Gibbs in this draft is going to give him a pretty sizable workload in 2023. And despite the Dolphins kind of rolling with that running back by committee approach, it doesn't change for me. I still think they would give him a very sizable workload already his rookie year. It actually wouldn't even surprise me if Jahmyr Gibbs led the Dolphins running backs in total touches. Due to how much he can provide in the receiving game, it wouldn't shock me at all if he does that already his rookie year. And honestly, I mean, I'm pumped to see what Gibbs could do on the ground in that zone blocking scheme. But the thing I'd most look forward to with the Dolphins is that ability in the passing game, what he can actually bring with his receiving game, because he's the kind of running back that you don't just check down to all the time, you scheme passes for. And in 2022, it was basically like if we threw the ball to a running back, it was dump offs or it was later reads for Tua if the ball went to the running back in the passing game. But Jahmyr Gibbs he's the Alvin Kamara type. He's the Austin Eckler type where you simply scheme pass plays to these guys because of how well they can create after the catch and create in space once the ball is in their hands. And I've talked about it before, how a running back like Jahmyr Gibbs, he takes this Dolphins offense to the next level. I've said it a million times on this channel. And he does that kind of essentially all the ways that I've already discussed. But think about how much a player like this benefits a quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa, who is likely being told by the coaching staff, get rid of the ball, get the ball out of your hands, make decisions faster. You got to be smart. The concussions, we're not playing around with that this year. You got to get the ball out of your hands. So think about what that does simply for Tua. Because if he goes through his progressions and the receivers just simply aren't open, guess who's your bailout? Jahmyr Gibbs is your bailout, and he's a damn good one to have. Get him the ball. Simply let him create. And to be honest, go back to the Bama days. We saw Tua have pretty nice connections through the air with a running back like Najee Harris. But man, this connection could, and in my opinion, would be even more impressive with Jahmyr Gibbs, simply because Jahmyr Gibbs, I like Najee Harris as a prospect. I liked him as a pass catcher. Jahmyr Gibbs is already better at pass catching than a guy like Najee Harris. He's a better route runner. He's got better hands. He's better after the catch. This duo could be even better than what we saw from Tua and Najee Harris during their days in Alabama. So like I said, I am completely smitten with this prospect. Maybe someone needs to give me a reality check. Like I said, if he's not a slam dunk for you at 51, tell me why. Let me know in the comments, because as of right now, I am 100% all in on Jahmyr Gibbs if he is available at pick 51. And based on everything we've heard from what the team says too, they are likely on board with that same thought process. So like I said, let me hear your thoughts as well on Jahmyr Gibbs. We'll be back with more prospects as well. My number 2 guy that I talked about earlier, Darnell Washington, I have a pretty safe feeling he's going to be tomorrow's. I paired these two back to back for that reason. But that is my time for today, Dolphins fans. And until next time, fins up.